This was a political decision, not a legal decision. They're trying to put out a fire, and they just poured gasoline on it. Nobody in their right mind believes that making him a special counsel, Mr. Weiss, cleans up the mess that's been created. If it weren't for the House of Representatives, we wouldn't know any of this if it weren't for the whistleblower. Now, here's what the whistleblower said. On October 7th, 2022, I was in a room where Mr. Weiss told me, FBI agents, IRS agents, that decision to bring charges and where to bring charges, he was overruled. Wasn't his decision. So on June 7th, he writes a letter of this year to Jim Jordan saying, I have all the authority I need. I've been granted. He writes one to me 3 weeks later. I could have all the authority I need. This doesn't pass the smell test. What they've tried to do is give Hunter Biden a deal that no other American would get. The judge asked hard questions. The plea agreement blew up. And to think that the very guy who wrote the plea agreement is seriously going to continue to investigate the Bidens is laughable. Andy is dead right. The guy that wrote the plea agreement did it in a fashion to give Hunter Biden the biggest break maybe in American legal history. Does anybody in their right mind trust the Weiss team to continue to fairly and impartially investigate the Hunter Biden-Joe Biden matter? I don't. So you've changed the title, but the problem's still the same.
Mr. Weiss changed his story 3 times in a matter of 5 weeks this summer. We have good reason not to believe in everything he says. And yes, it's true. We were asking for a special counsel to preside over the Hunter Biden matter early in the year. We've been asking for this for a long time, but not this individual. And the timing is so suspect because, you know, this follows right on the heels of Jamie Comer, our good friend Jamie Comer, who's the chairman of Oversight, saying on Maria Bartiromo's show that we were now going to subpoena the Bidens themselves. Something is not right here.
Seems like the Department of Justice has appointed Weiss because he's shown loyalty to the Bidens, not that he's actually going to find the truth.
It looks as though he is part of the cover-up, the very cover-up that whistleblowers have come forward to complain about, to clear their own consciences. And we've been following this truth wherever it leads. The other problem here is, and the reason we're so suspect, is that Mr. Weiss may now come into the middle of our congressional investigations and say, oh, gee whiz, I'm sorry, we won't be able to turn over any of that information now because now it really is the subject of a special counsel. I mean, we had appointments set with Mr. Weiss himself. We had 11 transcribed interviews that are on the calendar now for folks associated with all this in the Weaponization Committee, in the Judiciary Committee, and Oversight. And so now the question is, what becomes of all that? Are they going to try to use this as some sort of evasion tactic? We don't trust what is happening in Merrick Garland's DOJ, and we have many good reasons not.
The game you are watching is not the game that is actually being played. The Biden Justice Department would want you to believe that the appointment of someone from inside the Biden Justice Department in violation of law, as you pointed out, is somehow a basis to move the ball forward on investigating the Bidens. The reality is they are going to use this to try to cloak all of the activities, not only of the Bidens, but of the Justice Department itself in this ongoing investigation type of exemption from congressional oversight. So here is the only question for my House Republicans. Will we continue to acknowledge this claim that the Department of Justice makes that anything upon which there's an ongoing investigation, we just have to surrender our oversight function? You know, last time I checked, Congress was organized under Article 1 of the Constitution, and we have an Article 1 obligation to do that oversight, and we should not subjugate that to the Article 2 powers that the Department of Justice is acting on. So because they've changed their tactics, we have to change ours, and that's precisely how to do it.